Welcome, everyone, to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers. And tonight, we're going to talk about something that's on everybody's mind. More VR. The Meta Quest 3 is supposed to be out this fall, according to Microsoft. Just kidding. Facebook is basically coming out with Meta Quest 3. It's going to be $500 for the 128 gigabyte version. 500 big ones. It's supposed to offer higher resolution, stronger performance, and slimmer than before. So it's slimmed for your pleasure. It's supposed to have a more comfortable form factor. According to Meta, like the Quest 2, it's completely wireless. So, hey, it's supposed to combine the highest resolution display, pancake optics to make content look even prettier. Better than before, they say. To power those extra pixels, it will be the first headset to feature the next gen Snapdragon chipset. So, delivering twice the graphical performance than the previous one. Along with that, guess what? The Quest 2 is going back to its original price. They act like this is such a big deal. Hey guys, it's back down to its original price. That was pretty much an FU to consumers who bought anything within the last, was it even a year? Was it even raised the price in a year? I don't even know if it was a year, but you know, Microsoft has nothing to do with this, but you know, I just feel like talking about them. Zuckerberg needs to go work for them because they need a VR headset. But Zuckerberg thinks that everybody needs this headset for $500. I think Zuckerberg's been stroking it a bit too much here lately because I don't see anything in here worth $500 because I don't see anything mentioning OLED or a whole lot of other technologies that need to be listed. But the amount of information is very, very limited right now, right? There's not a whole lot of info out there except for it's going to come with the new Snapdragon chipset and it's supposed to be thinner and has their whatever they're calling pancake optics, you know, supposed to be thinner screen. It's like the people who have the really thick glasses and they can get the compressed lenses. I guess that's what they're doing here, you know. So the Meta Quest 3 is supposed to have both new features for both virtual reality and meta reality to blend the physical world with the virtual one. So basically they're saying that this basically means you could play a virtual board game in your real world, on your real world coffee table with friends, which, if I can't feel it, it's the tactile response is missing, right? Maybe it's going to have tactile on the controller. I don't know, but nothing's going to simulate moving a component around for me anyway. But it is what they're supposed to be putting out, and it's supposed to be out this fall. I don't know what to think about this because I'm not spending $500 on a VR headset, unfortunately. If I was, I would be buying the Sony one and probably not the Quest, right? And now that I know something new's coming out, I really am not spending $299 on a 128 gig Quest 2 or $350 for the 256 gig. They just said a big screw you to all the people who bought a Quest after their price jump, which I don't know if people did. I wonder if it kind of just went, you know, the sales went down the toilet when they raised the cost. But, you know, that's neither for me to say or not, but I wonder all those people out there who are Quest fans, are you going to get the Quest 3? Let's say, Nick, are you going to buy the Quest 3? And do you think Microsoft should hire Zuckerberg, just make him come work for them and make their own VR?
No to the second one, but they should partner with somebody like Meta Quest and have it be the official Xbox VR headset or something like that. I think, I don't know. I mean, the Quest 2 is pretty popular. I personally think it'll do better than the PSVR 2. Mainly because it is backwards compatible from what they're saying. So you can go to the Meta library and play the plethora of games that are there, right? Which was missing from the PSVR 2. They're about the same price, right? Pretty close to the same price. I think the PSVR 2 is a little bit more expensive, right? I think it was $550 for the PSVR 2, wasn't it? If I remember correctly. I can't remember. Or $5 something like that. Or maybe it was just $500. I don't know. Somebody can look it up and tell me. But I think it'll do better than the PSVR, the PlayStation VR 2. I think PlayStation VR 2, and it's mainly, and the reason why is not because of hardware or anything like that, right? I'm sure this MetaQuest 3 will be somewhat comparable to the PSVR 2 as far as it may not be as like bleeding edge as the PSVR 2, right? But it'll still be up there as far as specs and things like that go. So it'll be close to, if not almost comparable to the PSVR 2. But I think it'll do better. And the reason why is because, mainly because of software, right? The Meta can play just about, every game that comes out VR, usually comes out on all VR systems, right? Unless for the PSVR 2, unless it's, made just for that, right? Which PlayStation, I don't think, has a lot of titles right now that are just for that, and not on everything else. They have Horizon, and I think they have some other ones coming down the pipeline. They might have some other ones that are just PSVR 2 only games. But the Meta has a crap ton of games. And if the MetaQuest 3 can play MetaQuest 2 and MetaQuest games, and that's what it sounds like from what they're saying, then it's, again, you have all the games that you bought on the MetaQuest 2, those that have that they're not going to jump ship from a MetaQuest 2 to a PSVR. They're going to jump ship from a MetaQuest 2 to a MetaQuest 3, right? So I think a lot of those people that have a 2 that are looking or wanting to upgrade will do so, and they'll pay the $500. I think it is expensive, but they'll pay the $500 for the MetaQuest 3, and the MetaQuest 3 I think will do really well. That's where I think some of the things that the PSVR 2 is having some trouble with, right? I think we've heard some ramblings, and we don't know all the information, but we heard that, Sony says it's not, but other outlets say it is, that the PSVR 2 is not selling well. And that hasn't really sold well. And I think that might be the case. And I think that might be the case, not just because of price, but also because of software. There's really not, like, when I look at the PSVR 2, do I want one? Hell yeah, I do. I like all the gaming stuff, so of course I want one. But is there anything on PSVR 2 that I want to play besides Horizon Call of the Mountain? Not really. There's really nothing else out on the PSVR 2 that I am like hammering to want to get my hands on. So I don't have an incentive right now, as it is. I don't have an incentive to want to own one of those. Is there a higher incentive for me to get a MetaQuest 3? I would say yes. A lot of the games that they probably showed off during the PlayStation Showcase, not every game, but like Arizona Sunshine, which is already on the Quest, Arizona Sunshine 2 will probably be on the Quest 3. A lot of those, Beat Saber, of course, is already there. So then you'll just be able to play it on your Quest 3. A lot of the games that you already own or probably have purchased with your Quest 3, plus the Quest can also play games from your PC. So if you have VR games that are just on Steam that are not on the MetaQuest store, you can hook your MetaQuest up to your PC and you can play those games, right? So you have this huge assortment of software that you can play on your MetaQuest without, going. That's one thing that I think Sony kind of did wrong with the PSVR 2 is not allowing you to bring your PSVR games over and play them on the PSVR 2, right? I think that hurt them. Because and I'm sure Shane does, we own the PSVR, and I own a lot of PSVR games. And if I had a PSVR 2, there's a lot of games that I own on the PSVR that I wouldn't mind still playing. But if I have a PSVR 2, I don't want to have to swap headsets every time I want to play something. And so I would just play it on the PSVR 2, and now I have to go and buy it, right? They said Beat Saber is coming out to PSVR 2. Well, like everyone and their mom owns Beat Saber already if they had the PSVR. So now you have to go and buy it again. And now they didn't say that, but I would assume that's the case, right? If it's not backwards compatible, then I would assume that you have to go out and buy Beat Saber again on PSVR 2 if you want it over there. It's probably the same game. Probably doesn't look much different, but still though, you want to play it on your new hardware. Whereas the Quest 3, if you have Beat Saber, you just pop on the Quest 3, load up Beat Saber, and off you go, right? So I think price out of the way, I think we're going to see some pretty high sales or close to pretty high sales numbers based on the Quest 2 for the Quest 3, even being at a higher price. It might take it a little longer because it is at a higher price to get there, but I think it will get there and be a successful VR headset. And the nice thing about the Quest as well is there's no wires. You know, even the PSVR 2, you still have to plug it into your PlayStation. If you've ever played a VR headset, which me and Shane have, not having wires to screw around with is like heaven on earth, because there's nothing like playing a VR and then grabbing a wire when you're swinging wildly and going like that and yanking your head or whatever it's attached to nearly off the thing because you grabbed the wire on accident. Not that you mean to. The wire is behind it, so they do try to prevent that from happening. But trust me, it's happened. I've done it several times, and I'm sure Shane has as well. And it's not intentional. It just happens. So having a device that has no wires, that doesn't require any wires, is something, again, I think the PlayStation VR 2. Now, granted, I understand why they do the wires, right? Because it's using, besides what's in the headset, it's also using the PlayStation 5 to render things so it looks better. And I get that. But people, when they have certain things, they do like it to look really good and everything. And you can get that with a headset that doesn't plug in, but they also like convenience, right? And it's convenient not to have one, a device that you have to plug it into, such as a PlayStation 5 or a computer. And two, not have any wires, right? To disconnect from being plugged in or being, because you can play the Quest anywhere, right? You can go anywhere. Because you basically, when you put it on, you draw a circle around you. That's your play area. And then you play in it, right? You don't have to be like 6 feet away from the whatever it is that you're hooked into. You can be anywhere. You can go outside and play it. You know, you just, when you pop the thing on, you just draw a line around you, right? Because you can see everything. When you put the Quest 2 on, you can see everything. And then you basically, with the low controller, you draw a line around you, however big, saying this is my play area. And then it keeps everything confined within that circle. It's a really cool piece of hardware, I would have to say, when it comes to VR headsets. And it's more, I think also too, the last thing, and I'll move it on to Shane here. I think also the Quest 2 is, of course, more known, and I think it's more widely accepted as a VR headset compared to the PSVR, which is going to be more of your, and what I'm saying is in the casual market, right? I think a lot of casual gamers or people that casually play technology probably have a Quest compared to gamers who are going to, that probably have a Quest, but also probably have a PlayStation VR and probably have, whatever. They have all this types of stuff. That's what gamers typically do. But those casual players, I bet 9 times out of 10 probably have a Quest or a Quest 2 sitting around that they like to pop on and watch movies or play a game, Beat Saber or something like that from time to time, right? And so the Quest 3 is going to be more expensive, but those, the time, holiday sales and things like that will reduce the price maybe at some points. And those people that have a Quest 2 that want to upgrade will do so. So I think that's how it's going to look, how it's going to turn out. What do you think, Shane?
What are we talking about? No, the
pizza.
First of all, Pat, you said, you're talking about playing board games virtually. You get the contextual. We've played Uno. We have played Monopoly on Xbox. So don't worry about contextual. We'll be fine.
Those are card games. Like play an actual real board game.
You gotta move the pieces in Monopoly, damn it.
No, you roll the dice and it moves the pieces for you.
But in the real game, you move the piece. 1, 2, 3. Shit. That's Monopoly.
We also played Wingspan and that sucked ass.
And Gloomhaven, which was good though.
It says that the MetaQuest 3 will have true touch haptics.
But also,
that's the Quest good for Pornhub.
The Quest 3 also has full color pass through, whereas the Quest 2 is only black and white.
Oh, for the augmented
The pass through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with pretty much everything Nick said. I don't know if the 3 will be as popular as the 2. I really don't. Primarily due to price. 2 was popular because it was $300. That's good for a VR. I mean, my PlayStation VR was $300. So it was $350 originally, and I think I got it for like $250 or something like that on sale for Christmas. But I love my VR for PlayStation. I think it works just fine. And PlayStation VR 2, I will not pay that price for. Because when I bought my PlayStation VR, it was $250 plus whatever my PlayStation 4 cost. See, I don't separate that. That's still one device. That is still something I had to pay for both. I consider that the same amount. So that's to me where the Quest has its biggest draw is I'm only paying $500 and I'm not having to buy 500. Well, I guess PlayStation's $550 now. $500 for this and another $500 for this, $550. And you're right, it was $550, Nick. That's $1,100 a head. That's $1,100 VR. You can get that real kick-ass one for $1,100 with the full setup. I can't remember the name of that one, Pat.
But that's minus the PC. You're talking about the Valve Index.
Yeah,
you still have to have a PC for the Valve Index.
All right,
so you're still looking at $1,000. You're still looking at $1,000 computer.
But it's still better than what you're going to get on PlayStation VR. I mean, my opinion.
No, I mean the game wise, probably yes. But not.
That's what I mean.
Oh, okay, I was like, that's all. At $2,000 for a.
My mind is only on games when it comes to VR.
Not technology-wise.
I don't care about virtual meetings. Like I got my goggles on. Hey Nick, how you doing? How you doing? Are you naked? Yeah, I'm naked. I don't care about virtual meeting stuff. When it comes to VR, I only care about Lawnmower Man. That's what I want. I want to hook up with a harness with a really bad actor who cornholes his neighbor and lives and breathes in VR. That's all I want out of VR. The Quest 3 sounds really cool. I might get that, but it'll be one of those I'll get it a little bit on sale kind of a thing. So, but the good news is you can buy the 2 for the original price after they increase the price and then they bring it back down, not even a year later. God, that is the stupidest. They could have at least dropped it lower than the original price, for God's sakes. But to me, virtual reality is just, it's cool and it's fun, but until they can get rid of the biggest problem, and hopefully the Quest 3 can do it, of nausea, it's really hard to make and play games for me. Some games I do really great. No problems whatsoever. Beat Saber, no issues. Saints and Sinners, no issues. Vader Immortal, no issues. But there are some like Doom 3, holy crap. Nope. I mean, it was almost instant vomit. It's, they've got to get that down first. So, but I think Microsoft Zuckerberg, as Pat keeps wanting to call him, I think he's a joke anymore. I think he's ruining Facebook, changing it to Meta, trying to force it to be something it's not. He can suck a butt. But I would like to see a partnership, though, with, like you said, a partnership with Xbox would be really cool. I mean, I would like to play Redfall in VR. I mean, so, but no, I mean, I think it would be cool, though, to have some cooperation between the two where, you can play, a lot of VR games, Xbox games in VR. I mean, Forza would be really cool, stuff like that would be awesome as long as I don't throw up. So, but I don't know how to feel about it because I really like VR, but I don't know how far this Quest has come to the prior one, because the prior one I really enjoyed, but I didn't play a whole lot on that one. So
yeah, I think it is a slap in the face. I looked it up, and they went a price increase of $100 on each model August of last year. So almost a year. They just jacked it up just enough time for them to come out the 3, to make this announcement. So not even a year. So that's what's going to happen to the Quest 3. It's going to be out for a little while. It's going to go to $600 and then it's going to come back down to $500, right before they announce the Quest 4 or whatever. So that's the Zuckerberg treatment right there. Make you think it's on sale. We love you so much. We're going to lower this back down to the original MSRP for you.
That's just the metaverse, man.
That's the metaverse.
Oh, yeah.
That's the it's all fake. It's not real. It's just the metaverse.
Oh, yeah.
It's the facade put on by the metaverse. The price increase was never real.
Oh, honey, did you see they got this sale at the store? It's 25% off. No way. They raised it 50%.
Right. Yeah, like I said, right now we don't know hardly jack about the Quest 3. We know that it's got the next gen Snapdragon in it. We know that it's going to come in 128 gig size. It may come in larger. We don't know. We don't know the display resolution. We don't know the RAM. We don't know the battery life. We don't know the size. We know it's 40% slimmer than the Quest 2. We have no the weight. We do know that the mixed reality pass-through is supposed to be full color, but we don't know anything else about this thing. We just know that it's super danged expensive.
I did look up the pancake lenses. It's like looking through syrup.
No, so you got to put the extra syrup on there to clear it up.
Butter.
It's a butter add-on to make it. But yeah, so I mean, we don't know jack about it. We just know that it's going to be $200 more than the new price of the Quest 2. So they only raised it $100, guys. It's only $100 more than the last Quest 2.
But
that's a slap in the face. Yeah.
It's like, you assholes telling me it's only $20.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's
for
only
sure.
It's $200 in reality, because the price, they just jacked the price up after the dang thing been out for years, right?
Yeah.
It's stupid backwards type thing, because I guarantee you, and I hope this is true, I hope Zuckerberg choked on the loss of sales from jacking that thing up $100, and that's why they're like, we got to do something, guys. We got so many units of this in stock that we can't going to be able to get rid of it before fall. But it's supposed to come out fall of this year. We are in summer of this year. That's not much time, and we have very little details. Like, we have 3 months before we're starting to hit into fall season, 3 or 4 months, and then, where is this information going to come out? And that's what, to make it worth $500 compared to the original $300 of the Quest 2. I mean, we already got their Quest Pro that's like outrageously, ridiculously, stupid expensive. But I mean, it's got a good amount of hardware behind it. But, I'm not paying that for the Quest Pro. And the Quest Pro is not made for consumers, right? They even said it's not made for the standard consumer. It's like $1,000 or some crap like that. It's not made for the standard consumer. It may be $1,500, I think, the last I saw, but I heard that it was not selling well. So, nobody's going to spend $1,500 or $1,000 for that, in my opinion, for this metaverse headset when you've got something like the Index out there or something like that, but to each their own. Some people are going to buy it. Some people are not. I myself will not spend $500 for a VR headset. If I refuse to pay $550 for the PSVR 2, I'm not spending $500 for a Meta Quest 3. Now, if it came out and it was a $300, I might contemplate getting it, because I've been contemplating the last few years of getting a VR headset, but I have FOMO and I cannot bring myself to buy a Quest 2, knowing the Quest 3 is right around the corner. It's just it's just knowing that I'm buying an inferior product, and I'm like, I'll be wondering what I'm missing out on the whole time. So I have that problem. So I will never buy last year's model. I have the same problem with a lot of things in life. I just will not buy last year's model if I'm buying something new. It just doesn't make sense to me. Even though it saves a considerable chunk of money sometimes, I just can't do it. But so it sounds like you guys aren't on board with the Meta Quest 3 at $500 neither, are you? Nobody here is buying one?
No.
I'm pretty damn iffy on it, but right now it's a big no.
Shane will pop up with a $500 Quest 3 when it comes out.
Yep. And you're going to yell at me, go outside. I'd be like, I am outside.
Can't you guys see I'm in the verse right now?
I'm playing
the verse.
I'm playing Touching Grass VR.
I'm playing Pet the Dog VR. And I found this cool new one. It's called Wax On, Wax Off.
Oh,
Furry walls.
And this one, you polish a pole. It's weird. It's a weird game.
And your friend's playing a game, a relaxation game.
Yeah, your friend's playing a lay down there and relax game.
It's a game about plumbing.
It's clogged.
You gotta push harder and faster. It's not coming unclogged.
Maybe spit
Oh,
out.
there's some blowback. There's some blowback. All right. So let us know what you guys think. Are you guys interested in this $500 Quest 3? I think a lot of us would like to know a lot more details than what's been released, but it's just the announcement trailer. But I think the announcement trailer and then saying something's coming out in fall of this year, it could be the beginning of fall, it could be the end of fall, and it could be any time in between that. But it's still a time window. And then the basically not release very much details is kind of, I would like to know more. I'm pretty sure there's nothing they're going to tell me that's going to cause me to buy this thing at $500 unless they tell me this thing can beat the Valve Index. And then I might be like, huh? But if they can tell me that, then I might look at that. But if not, then I'm probably not interested at $500. My price point is, my realistic price point is $250. That's my realistic price point. $300 is even hard for me to swallow for something like this because I'm not sure that I could give it the time and use that I would want to put into something that I spent $300 for. I spent $300 on my Switch and I don't play it nearly as much as I should for $300. So I dang sure ain't buying a VR headset that I'm going to spend that much on. So let us know what you think down in the comments. Are you interested in buying a Quest 3 when it comes out for $500, or is that outside of your price range? We don't know the specs, so we can't say it's worth it or not at this point. So let us know down in the comments. And as always, we hope you enjoyed this episode and we hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.